Hello everyone, today we are looking into a little tier list that I made. I made this out of fun. So this is a tier list about how fun I think certain killers are for me to play. This has nothing to do with performance, skill or anything in ranking or so. This is just how I feel about killers, how much fun they actually are or not are. And therefore we will start here, I guess. You can see I have prepared two screenshots, or two parts of the screen. This is the list that's still missing. We go in the order that they are here. And I have 5 tiers. Fun at all times means, of course, I always enjoy playing this killer. No matter if it's a good day, a bad day, I usually have fun playing these killers. Fun, but I'm bad at it. Killers that I'm enjoying, but I'm not as good as the other ones. Basically also self-explanatory. At least in my own perception. If you want to correct me in the comments, feel free, obviously. Sometimes fun, killers that I enjoy occasionally. That's like, the first example will be Trapper, I spoil you that much. There are killers that I can play on some days and some days I can't. Would avoid them. Killers that I usually not enjoy to play or not as much as others. And I usually avoid them, except if I have to play them for dailies or stuff. Sometimes, however, there are days, and that's super rare, where I actually will care about them and I will play them, so sometimes I actually play them. So it's a little bit below sometimes fun, but it's more like on the mess side. And leave me alone. Spoiler, there will be only 2 killers in this tier and I struggled a lot on ordering them. You will be able to tell from left to right what is most fun. Left is most fun, right is least fun in the tier, and then the next tier starts, obviously. So again, this is only my personal opinion on how much fun I have while playing these killers. Don't make any skill or performance issues or meta issues out of this. You will see this has nothing to do with the meta. Nurse is nowhere near top. But yeah, let's get started. So first we have the Trapper. I already spoiled you on this one. He's sometimes fun. I have days where I really enjoy playing Trapper, and I have days where I really can't see him. Usually I enjoy playing him, but his mechanic around the traps is kinda one-sided, so it's a little bit difficult to actually get this sorted in a serious way for me. Also, the fact that he needs a lot of setup time is a little bit making him uninteresting for me. Sorry, or not interesting for me. Wraith is the next one, and they are brothers in spirit, because while Wraith was one of the first killers I ever played, Wraith is something that ever since I've faced my more favorite killers, he fell back and back even more. He's a still good killer. He had some recent changes that are really interesting to play as and against. Yeah, that's basically it. Next one is Billy. He's the first one in fun, but I'm bad at it. Some of you might remember that I actually hated to play as Billy, especially Billy and Bubba. I avoided them like I did on Nurse a long time. But yeah, I still enjoy him now, especially after the last rework. He's still one of the killers that I have troubles on getting along with, because the controls are just too weird sometimes. I just can't control him properly. Next is Nurse, and Nurse will be on the left side of Billy here. I enjoy Nurse a little bit more than I do Billy, yes. I sometimes get really good teleportation kills and downs and hits, but most of the time I'm struggling a lot on her on getting orientation, and especially on 2-story maps I still struggle like crazy. It's like the few good games I can make on maps like The Game or RPD, you can count them on one hand during the past 3 or 4 years that I played this game now. Next is Myers. And Myers I actually rather would avoid. On some days I can play him, but I have this story on Myers about 3 or 4 evenings trying to get the Evil Within challenge done, where you have to kill all 4 survivors on your power. And that achievement took me ages, and I struggled a lot on that, and it basically destroyed Myers for me. I still try to play him sometimes on tier 1 or tier 2 Myers, because these are more fun and more gimmicky, and especially tier 2 Myers confuses survivors a lot. He's more like on the I would rather avoid side. Hag is next, and Hag is the first in the leave me alone tier. Hag is not fun to play. Hag is a good killer, don't get me wrong. I know some or many people actually say Hag is terrible, but Hag is a really good killer. I just don't enjoy her. Her power feels even more boring than Trapper to me. It's basically the same. You place traps, but unlike Trapper, you don't need to pick it up, which is actually, or should be an advantage. But the fact that you have a teleportation range, that you can't go all across the map and then teleport back as soon as somebody triggers the trap, which I usually do, so this is what happens to me. I'm not really fond of her. Play her for dailies and on few requests sometimes, but Hag is not something that I really enjoy. And the other killer in there will surprise you, trust me on that one. Okay, next is Doctor. Doctor is sometimes fun for me. I have evenings where I can play Doctor a lot and it's super fun, and I have evenings where I wouldn't touch him at all. Doctor is this... he will end up in the middle of the list somewhere, and you will see that, and he's actually one of the 2 killers that's on that slice of... yeah, he actually is fun, but I would need to invest more time, and I don't, because I prefer other killers over him. But Doctor also really strong, and sometimes, especially if you play him on gimmicky builds, it's super fun, but other times it's like, just avoid him. Next killer is Huntress, and who would have guessed? Fun at all times. Huntress is one of my 4 main killers, as you know. Trickster, Slinger, Huntress, Artist. To be honest, on Huntress I'm like... I enjoy her. But the more I play the other killers, the less I enjoy her. She's still in my top favorite killers of all time. I usually have fun with her, even if I lose. Except I missed her just because I'm stupid, then of course I don't have that much fun. But overall, Huntress I can never go wrong with, I guess. Except to pick a certain outfit and a certain viewer is there because they are groupie and they complain about that outfit, but hey. Next we have Bubba. And Bubba is sometimes fun. While explaining Billy, I already explained that chainsaw killers are not my strong side at all. And I struggled a lot on Bubba. But I also have to admit, thanks to Bubba, I got better on Billy because I lost my quote-unquote fear of chainsaw killers because Bubba was easier to learn to control. However, Bubba is like a coin flip. On some days I feel good on him, and on some days I just dislike to play him. It's really a day-to-day basis if I'm good on him or not. Next is Freddy, and Freddy also is sometimes fun. Freddy could be one of my favorite killers, to be honest. But he has that issue that his base power, for me, feels super weak. The dream snares feel super weak. It's not really something that I appreciate. On the other hand, the dream pellets are amazing. I love to play them. The problem is I have to use add-ons all the time, so if I do a no add-on challenge at some point, Freddy will be one of the biggest hindrances because his base power feels just underwhelming. I got so much more value out of pellets in one game that I got on Dream Snares in my whole career of DBD and playing Freddy. And Freddy I learned when I still did focus nights on single killers, so I played one killer the whole evening. So I'm pretty sure Freddy is not in a good place at the moment. On a skill or potential skill tier list he would be even lower. But on a fun tier list, I'm comfortable on putting him on sometimes fun. Next is Pig, and Pig I have a similar issue as I have on Freddy. Pig is on a base kit not really interesting, but with certain add-ons she's fun to play. So yeah, also it's depending on a daily basis if I actually enjoy her or not. Her playstyle is a lot different to what I usually do on my ranged killers, so yeah, it's similar to Bubba and Freddy, a day-to-day basis decision. Next we have Clown. Clown is one of my first few killers as well, similar to Wraith, Clown, Trickster and Bubba. Were the 4 that I played in the beginning when I started to play the game again in 2021? Something like that. And while I enjoy Clown, I struggle a lot on him because I never learned him properly. I bought him in the beginning because of Pop Goes the Weasel and Bamboozle. I never learned him properly, but I had a lot of fun playing him in the beginning, and I still do. He is still one of my more favorite killers, but still on the side of could be better. I could be a lot better on him if I invested more time, but yeah. Fun, but I'm bad at it. In a nutshell. Next we have Spirit. And Spirit, I have the same issue as in Wraith. It's fun, the kit is actually good, but I don't really get a connection. I really like to play her on some evenings, and I play her for like 2, 3, 4 games, and then I'm good for another month again. It's good, it's fun, but I just can't get the closer connection to her somehow. Next we have Legion. And I struggled a lot on this decision, but Legion is actually less fun than Hag. Hear me out. So for me personally, Legion is less fun than Hag, because Legion is like the purest base kit of a killer. He can sprint a little bit faster, which by now everybody can do on certain perks. He has deep wounds, which is not really a benefit in most games. He gets carried by certain perks if you're not good at him, like I am. If you're good at him, you may be even better on different perks, but for me it's like playing perks that benefit from injuring survivors or downing survivors are the only way I can get something out of him. And even then I'm struggling a lot. And while Hag is for a long time the most hated killer, most hated is wrong, the less liked killer on my end for a long time, I really struggled a lot on ordering Legion in front of Hag, because I realized if I have the choice between play Hag or Legion, I always would pick Hag. Because Hag has at least options and possibilities, but Legion is just a hit and run killer. It's just like, if the survivors split up, you have no chance, but on Hag you still can do at least some counterplay. Next we have Plague. And Plague goes in this wonderful tier, fun but I'm bad at it. But on Plague I was actually debating if I put her at fun at all times or fun but I'm bad at it, because Plague is also one of the killers I play longer. And she was also one of the first few that I tried on the quote-unquote semi-ranged area. There are 2 more in that regard, that will be coming up shortly. Plague is fun, but I still feel every time I watch somebody else who really was into playing Plague, no matter if it's an official dedicated Plague main or if it's Odstava who plays Plague a lot as well. Every time I watch somebody else, I'm like, okay, I played that killer quite a lot and I still see every single game something new. Something I didn't know about, something I could learn about, something I should learn about. But what I quote-unquote optimized a little bit on her is the object infection or infestation playstyle that I found quite early. That's one I really enjoy. And overall, yeah, she's fun obviously, but I should practice her more to actually get better. Next we have Ghostface, and he is definitely a killer I would avoid for several reasons. Ghostface is one of the stealth killers that I really would like to avoid, but unlike Myers, Survivor can actually counterplay him. And I'm freaking bad at stealth game in DVD. Sniping people, no problem, but actually playing stealth, yikes. Next we have Demogorgon, or Dumpling Head John. Dumpling Head is a cool killer, is sometimes fun. I play him sometimes a few games per evening, similar to Spirit, and then I'm good again. Demogorgon is a strong killer. I really would like to learn him more, but I'm just lacking time and interest both. He's sometimes fun. Most of the games I play on him are good. Demogorgon he's actually the second killer in the middle, next to Doctor, who will make the flip later on, as soon as the list is full. And then we have Oni. Oni is usually fun, but I'm really bad at him. We noticed it. So if you're watching this video when it's released, last Saturday we had the lights out on Oni. He's fun to play, but I'm really bad at him. Sometimes I have some really cool dashes and actually down survivors, but most of the time I'm just bad. He's still fun though, I'd like to learn him better. But again, I have 4 main killers that I learn right now, and I'd rather invest time in these at the moment. Talking about main killers that I learn at the moment, Slinger. Slinger is more fun than Huntress to me, yes. Slinger is, next to Trickster, the killer that I played most of the time. So Trickster definitely number 1, but Slinger number 2. And I learned a lot of Slinger already, and at the moment I try to learn from better Slinger mains, watching their videos, analyzing their gameplay, and try to get better at Slinger. Because while finding all the holes on the maps and trying to improve my shooting and whatnot is also helpful for Trickster, because the projectile size is roughly the same. Slinger can do so much more on these gaps, holy crap. But yeah, still learning that. But there is, if I wouldn't play Trickster main, I probably would be a Slinger main. At least at the moment, because Slinger is definitely someone I really enjoy playing and see a lot of potential that I still can't fully use. Next we have Pyramid Head. Remember when I said at Plague that I had a few killers that are semi-ranged and I would like to play more, but I'm not good at them? Yep, Pyramid Head is another one of them. Pyramid Head is definitely one of the worst killers in terms of add-ons in the game, and unfortunately also one of the worst killers in terms of base kit power, in my opinion at least. Yeah, he has his chop, so the mini-mori, but overall Pyramid Head is like, I feel like he's held back. Not only because of the add-ons, but also because his base kit feels underwhelming. But you can do a lot of it, especially because your semi-ranged attack can go through walls. But yeah, I still feel I'm lacking a lot of skill on him. Then we have Blight. And a little spoiler, Blight will be on the end of fun, but I'm bad at it. So he almost dropped down to sometimes fun. And why didn't I drop him down? Because I actually enjoy him. I enjoy playing Blight, but at the same time I feel bad because I just can't pull up some text and shit that I can see on other Blight's streams and videos. But honestly, I didn't practice, so come on. He's still fun though, I really enjoy him. And then we have Twins. And let me tell you, Twins was also difficult to place. Twins are sometimes fun, and that's a difficult story to explain. So when I started playing DBD and I started to expand my roster and getting all the killers one after another, when I got to Twins, I would have loved to actually get more involved into how Twins are played and how they are done. The problem is, while the whole mechanic and stuff is interesting, it's weird how you play it. For example, if you are Victor and you are on the wrong surface for like a tenth of a second, Victor dies. If you are landing on a table in Lemkin Lane, for example, you die immediately. If you land on a table in Garden of Joy, you die immediately. If you land on a roof in Lemkin Lane, because you jump on a roof in Lemkin Lane because you pounced through a window to catch a survivor, but you missed him, but you then land on the other side of the building, of the roof, you die. If you jump over pallets, it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, even though you jump away from the same location. It's super weird. I don't get a consistent result on Twins. I watched a few Twins main as well by now. And while in the beginning I played them more, now they slowly fall behind, similar to Wraith. Next is Trickster. And for Trickster I have prepared something. Give me a second. Devoid of unending distance to the next tier, and then not actually fun, but I play it out of habit. Revert Trickster. Come on, he's not fun anymore. I play him mostly out of habit and not because he's fun. That's just not good. Nemesis. Nemesis, similar to Pyramid Head. I played them in the beginning when I was learning the game, and as much as I enjoy them, I still didn't practice them enough. The new changes make him easier to play though, and I really enjoy him more now. That's why I put him a little bit higher now than initially. Initially he was like between Oni and Blight, but still fun for a few games in between. Pinhead. Pinhead would avoid them mostly. I played him, so Pinhead was the first release that I actually got along with when I started playing the game again. While enjoying him when he was released, I at some point completely ignored him, and Pinhead is one of my least played killers at the moment. I still play him for few requests sometimes. Yeah, I'd rather would avoid them. Artist. This surprised me a little bit myself, but I realized I enjoy Artist now more than Huntress, because I learned the slingshot hits more, and it actually hitting more. So if you don't know what slingshot hits are if you are hitting a survivor twice with a bird because you place them in enough distance and they don't try to dodge it. That's working on generators sometimes, that's working on hooks sometimes, that's working in plain field sometimes even, if you're lucky. But if you learn that, Artist is a lot more fun than Huntress. So yeah, I really enjoy her, and I definitely enjoy her more than Huntress at the moment, even though all three of these are fun. Onryo. Onryo is like Freddy or Pig, something that's a coin flip. I enjoy her basically, but some days I just can't. And that's not related to killing or not killing, or related to maps or so, it's just related to sometimes I just don't feel the vibe to play her. Dredge. When Dredge was released, I was really happy about him, because he was the closest that we probably ever will get to Nocturne in League of Legends. A character I would love to have as a killer. By the way, if you want to have, I don't know, 3 killers that I would like to have in DBD, or 5 killers I would like to have in DBD, let me know in the comments. Dredge is the closest we will ever get to Nocturne, I guess. And I really enjoyed playing him. But I also learned that I, A, have to practice him a lot, and B, that he's really map dependent. If you don't have lockers everywhere, you're doomed. And too many maps have too many gaps on too many places in terms of lockers. So yeah, I never invested the time that I needed to do to actually get better at him. But yeah, that's that. Next we have Wesker. And Wesker was also kinda tricky, but I decided I rather would avoid them. So on its base kit, Wesker is actually fun to play. He has a good power, he has good add-ons, he's interesting to play, but at the same time Wesker is freaking overused. It's like 60% of all games that I face as a survivor are Wesker. I know this is a little bit over-exaggerated, but Wesker feels just overused. And I simply don't want to add to the frustration some survivors have at one hand, and at the other one, he is simply not as fun as any killer I ranked above him. I even would prefer Ghostface over Wesker to play, and I can't handle Ghostface, so yeah. Then we have Knight. And Knight has had the biggest range in where I should place him. In the first iteration, I guess it was somewhere in fun, but I'm bad at it, and then it dropped down slowly. I ranked Knight now before the rework. After the rework, he would rank higher, but I didn't play him enough yet to actually put him in a better place. So the Knight rank is more or less... It could go up in the next few weeks, let's say like this. But I don't make another tier list in the next few weeks, so... If you see me playing him more on stream, you can imagine it probably is at sometimes fun, but I'm bad at it at some point, but I just didn't get to play the new version enough already. Skull Merchant. I usually enjoy playing her, and there's very little times where I actually hate to play her. But I'm afraid this will change in the upcoming weeks because we had the PDB patch notes, and according to the PDB patch notes, they will slaughter her. Singularity. Singularity I would also rather avoid, even though recently I enjoy them a little bit more than I did in the past. So Singularity would be a leave me alone candidate, but yeah, he stick and would avoid them. And also pretty high, he actually will stick on a second place here. Singularity for me has a big problem that can't be solved by gameplay changes. Let me explain. When you play Singularity, he's stomping around, he feels slowish, sluggy, a little bit like Nemesis, a big machine monster thing that's basically stomping around and is slow, and his hits have high impact and whatnot, but at the same time his power is making him agile, versatile. He just feels wrong. He feels like he should be slow, stomping around, being rather inflexible and slow, but then he can teleport. He can use cameras to survey the whole map. He feels like a brick of steel that's wandering around, but he doesn't play like a brick of steel that's wandering around. He feels more like nurse or spirit, a small fragile little thing jumping around, teleporting around, phasing around. It doesn't fit in my brain. It doesn't come together. That's why I don't really enjoy him, because what I feel when I play him doesn't match what I play when I play him. You know what I mean? Next we have Xenomorph, Alien. Alien was also a little bit tricky for me, because when they were released, I loved to play them, and then I lost interest, and I have no idea why. The Xenomorph is also that semi-range thingy that is also Nemesis and Pyramid Head, and they could be up there together. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't really enjoy them as much as I do Nemesis and Pyramid Head, but I also wouldn't avoid them. So it's like somewhere there, and then it was difficult to place it between all these others and sometimes fun. And then I decided to go for this spot specifically because honestly I would rather play him or them than Doctor, but I would also prefer Spirit Trapper and Wraith over Xenomorph. So yeah. Next is Chucky. And to no surprise, I would avoid Chucky. Before we start now discussing why I dislike Chucky, I like the movies and I was interested in seeing him coming, even though I would have preferred Gordon Ramsay over him when I saw the knife missing. Different story. If you were there, you were there, and you know that meme. But I have a problem on Chucky, and that is his third-person view. Not because I dislike third-person views in general, that's not a big deal. But the pre-stories when Onryo was released, Onryo was the second killer, not the first killer, sorry, that was short. Everybody else was average or tall, even Hack is average. So Onryo was the first killer where on certain biomes like Swamp or Outer Haven, where the grass was really high, you couldn't see survivors in chasers because the grass was in your face. You literally couldn't see through the grass, even on low settings. And back then people were like, could you please make her third person, because we can't see shit in games. And Behavior back then stated, not officially, but one of the devs on his private account said, we won't do third person for killers. I'm a little bit torn between that as well, because Onryo would have deserved it already to have a better overview, but hey, who am I? I still enjoy Onryo more than I do Chucky for another reason though, and that is that his slice and dice feels like a shortened version of a Billy sprint, and it's weird, especially ever since they changed the Heidi Ho and the jump over pallets that you only can do in the dash now and not outside of the dash anymore, and it's super weird to play. They also changed some of his add-ons that are not really interesting for me anymore, so yeah, Chucky is on the lower end here. Next we have the Unknown, and Unknown was one of the new releases that I really enjoyed. Unknown has a unique, versatile power, in my opinion, that makes them super strong if you know what you're doing, but also super useless if you have no clue what you're doing. And that is something that is true for many of my top range killers, obviously, and it's true for most of the killers in this grid, let's be honest. Unknown had this additional vibe of being an actual monster after a while, you know? There are killers that are mean, like Skull Merchant, and assholes like, I don't know, Trickster for example. But at the same time, Unknown is just this merciless and fearless monster that just goes rampage sometimes, and that feels good. It was a good change, and also through his ranged power, which feels like a big grenade launcher somehow, it feels like a better version of Trickster, because the effective range is somewhat similar. At the moment, Unknown is definitely really nice to play, and I'm looking forward to test the changes next week, or this week actually, when you see this video when it was released, because on PTB they gave him some quality of life changes, and I'm really looking forward to test it. Next is Vecna, And Vecna is also one of the killers I enjoy more, and that is because of his huge power versatility. You have attacks, you have ability, you have utility. You can basically do everything on him a little bit, and you still need to manage that properly, because otherwise you are in deep shame. Anyways, Vecna, really cool killer. I really enjoy to play. I should play him more, I agree on that, but that's why he's on the right end of this tier. And last but not least, almost least though, Dracula. And for Dracula, it's honestly, I can't control them. I literally can't get along on them. I played them now several days and several evenings and tried different stuff, but I just can't get used to them. It's totally a me issue, I know that, but this is a list about me having fun on certain killers and not about skill. And I just can't enjoy them because I can't get the grasp of them. I maybe should ask for help, I don't know. But Dark Lord Dracula could be a lot higher if I could control them more. But the simple fact that I can't control them takes the fun away completely from me. Maybe that's similar to Chucky, I don't know. Never really thought about it. Okay, that's my tier list. And yeah, this was no joke. I don't really enjoy Trickster at the moment. I just play him out of habit, and that's a bad thing. Maybe Trickster will actually get some rework in the future. Again, I would hope for it. But as I said, we have additional plans for the future and we're looking into it. This was almost a year ago. And now they're doing the same on Skull Merchant, where they say, yeah, we have additional plans for the future and we're looking into it. And they did the same to Onryo, where they said, yeah, we have additional plans for the future and we're looking into it, and nothing of that was touched ever since. I'm not really looking forward to that. Anyways, that was my tier list on how much fun I have on killers. Hope you enjoyed as well. Have a lovely day, and let me know in the comments what you think about it. Until next time, goodbye.